She was beautiful, magnetic, and larger than life. A model whose curves challenged the industry's narrow standards, whose smile lit up the runway. But behind the glamour and flashbulbs, a darkness was growing, a shadow lurking closer than anyone imagined. Tonight, you'll hear the chilling story of a stalker's obsession and a murder that shattered a city. What happened wasn't just tragic. It was something so sinister, so unexpected, that it turned everyone's assumptions upside down. And the truth? You won't see it coming. But before we dive in, if you love unraveling twisted stories with me, hit subscribe and ring the bell. Trust me, this one's worth your sleepless nights. It's a chilly October evening in Chicago, 2023. The city's skyline glows under an ominous sky, rain tapping steadily against slick streets. Neon signs flicker. A coffee shop on a quiet side street hums with soft chatter and clinking mugs. Inside, Maya Bennett is finishing a meeting. She's 27, confident, and unapologetically herself. A curvy model who had recently signed with a boutique agency challenging traditional beauty norms. Her presence was vibrant, even electric, as she laughed and chatted with her manager over pumpkin spice lattes. But beneath her confident exterior, Maya had grown uneasy over the past 6 months. Maya's life looked perfect on Instagram. Dazzling shoots, smiling fans, glamorous events, but there were cracks few noticed. She had been receiving strange messages. At first, compliments sprinkled with awkward, obsessive undertones. Then calls late at night, sometimes silence, sometimes breathing. Her friends joked, probably just a weirdo, ignore it. But Maya wasn't laughing. One afternoon, she mentioned it casually to her roommate. I think someone's watching me, not like a fan, more like a shadow. Her roommate shrugged it off, but Maya wasn't sure anymore. The man behind the messages was Ethan Clark, 34, a reclusive graphic designer who lived 2 blocks from Maya's apartment. No criminal record, no prior arrests, just a quiet guy with a disturbing fixation. Ethan's obsession had been growing for over a year. He followed Maya online, meticulously saving every photo, every post. But it wasn't admiration, it was possessiveness. His walls were plastered with cutouts of Maya, her face circled obsessively with red pen. On his computer, he created collages blending his face with hers, a grotesque, digital attempt to merge their identities. Ethan's behavior escalated. He began leaving small, strange gifts at Maya's doorstep. A single white rose, a photo of a butterfly, sometimes an old Polaroid of a city park near her apartment. Places she frequented but never told anyone about. Detectives would later find these gifts after Maya's death. But at the time, she told no one. Was she too scared? Too hopeful it would stop? Her manager remembers a shoot 2 weeks before the tragedy when Maya seemed distracted, constantly checking over her shoulder. Tense. Her boyfriend tried to convince her to report the harassment. You don't know what this could turn into, he warned. But Maya believed in control. I'm not going to be a victim, she said. October 14th began like any other day. Maya was preparing for a live broadcast, a discussion about body positivity and mental health. She arrived early at the studio, joking with the crew, radiant and poised. But behind her eyes was a flicker of unease. At 5:45 p.m., after wrapping the session, she texted her boyfriend, leaving now, should be home by 6:30. But Maya never made it home. Her apartment door was unlocked. Inside, the living room showed signs of struggle. A shattered vase, overturned furniture. Maya was found in her bedroom, lifeless, a single deep wound in her chest. No signs of forced entry, no robbery. The killer had known her routines, knew how to get in unnoticed. Police recovered a note beside her body. Forever mine. What do you think happened here? Was this a crime of passion? Premeditated? Drop your theories in the comments below. And if you're as intrigued as I am, don't forget to subscribe. You won't want to miss what comes next. Forensic analysts combed through Maya's phone and social media. Suspicious IP addresses traced back to a single device, Ethan Clark's computer. Interviewed neighbors spoke of a quiet man, rarely seen outside, who suddenly started pacing outside Maya's building in recent weeks. Ethan's history revealed more. A prior restraining order filed by a former girlfriend citing harassment, but that had been quietly dropped. Police secured a search warrant for Ethan's apartment, and what they found was chilling. His room was a shrine to Maya. Hundreds of photos, journals filled with delusional entries about saving her from herself. One journal entry read, "She doesn't understand yet, but I am her protector. No one else can have her. If I can't have her, no one will." But it was a secret he hadn't shared openly. Ethan had a history of escalating obsession and violence. Police found knives hidden beneath his bed, bloodstains on his clothing. Ethan confessed, but his confession shocked even seasoned detectives. He claimed he never meant to kill Maya. The wound was an accident during a confrontation when she tried to escape. But deeper probing revealed a twisted fantasy in his mind: to possess Maya utterly, not just her body, but her image, her very soul. He believed that by killing her, he was freeing her from the world that rejected her true beauty and from herself. But this was just the surface. Further investigations revealed something so shocking, so sinister beneath Ethan's obsession, it changed everything we thought we knew about this case. Who else was involved? What dark secrets did Maya keep hidden? And how did a quiet man become a monster right under the city's nose? Maya Bennett's story is a brutal reminder of how obsession, when left unchecked, can spiral into tragedy. Her family grieves. The industry mourns a fearless advocate for body positivity, silenced far too soon. But Maya's legacy lives on in the hearts of those she inspired. If you want to honor her memory and stay on top of this unfolding story, subscribe now and join our community, because the truth is never just black and white. The tragic death of Maya Bennett, a woman whose life was stolen by a stalker's dark obsession. But as the investigation deepened, detectives found themselves staring into a labyrinth of secrets, lies Maya kept, mysteries in her past, and forces that no one expected. Tonight, we peel back the layers of deception and reveal the chilling truth behind what really led to that fatal night. But first, if you haven't yet, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss a moment of this gripping story. Ready? Let's dive back in. Detectives discovered that Maya's life, beyond the glamorous runway and smiling selfies, was more complicated and vulnerable than anyone realized. She had been quietly struggling with anxiety and depression, something she hid even from close friends. More unsettling, Maya had confided in only one person about a mysterious figure from her past, a man she described as dangerous, but who had vanished years ago. Records revealed that 8 years earlier, Maya had reported a harassment case against a man named Derek Wallace, an ex-boyfriend with a violent history. Derek had been arrested for stalking Maya after their breakup, but was released on bail. Shortly after, Maya moved to Chicago to escape him. She never spoke about Derek again, even to family. But investigators soon found that Derek had been tracking her through social media, and remarkably, had been living just a few miles away from her. Was Derek involved in Maya's death? At first, the police thought so, but DNA evidence excluded him from the crime scene. Then came the twist. Derek and Ethan Clark knew each other. They had crossed paths in a local online forum, a dark corner of the internet where obsession and control were the norm. This was no coincidence. Ethan's fixation on Maya was not just personal. It had roots tangled in this dangerous subculture. Psychologists called Ethan's behavior erotomania, a delusional belief that someone, often a stranger or celebrity, is secretly in love with you. But there was a more disturbing dimension. Ethan saw himself as a guardian of Maya's image, policing who could see her, who could own her digitally. He feared Derek's return, convinced that the ex was a threat to his relationship with Maya, even if Maya herself never wanted either of them. Yet the investigation revealed discrepancies in Ethan's confession. CCTV footage showed Ethan at a gas station miles away from Maya's apartment shortly after the estimated time of death. Neighbors heard arguing voices inside the building, but Ethan said he was alone. If Ethan wasn't the killer at the time Maya died, who was? New evidence suggested a third presence in the apartment. Forensic experts found traces of an unknown DNA sample, neither Maya's nor Ethan's. Detectives unearthed messages on Maya's phone, encrypted texts from an anonymous contact, warning her to be careful. But the identity of this mysterious figure remained hidden behind layers of digital smoke and mirrors. Who do you think this third party might be? A secret lover? Another stalker? Or someone closer to Maya's circle? Drop your theories below. The most creative gets a shout out in the next video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time, because the story only gets darker from here. Interviews with friends revealed Maya was leading a double life. Publicly, she was an advocate for body positivity and self-love. Privately, she was entangled in an underground world. Late-night meetings, encrypted chats, secret phone calls. Some friends hinted she was trying to escape her stalkers. But from whom? Detectives pieced together that Maya had been coerced into sending certain photos to unknown parties. Photos that were then leaked online. She had been threatened, manipulated, and trapped by someone with access to her inner circle. This person used technology to isolate her, cutting off support, instilling fear. The investigation turned toward Maya's manager, a man whose devotion some called borderline obsessive, and whose alibi for the night of Maya's death was shaky. Phone records showed late-night calls between the manager and Ethan Clark, but their purpose was unclear. Was the manager protecting Ethan, or was he an unwitting pawn in a larger scheme? As the net tightens, detectives stand at a crossroads. The killer may not be who they thought, and the truth may unravel a conspiracy more twisted than a simple stalker's obsession. Who really killed Maya Bennett? Was it the reclusive stalker, the vengeful ex, the secret third party, or someone no one expected? And what dark secrets will come to light when they finally unmask the puppeteer behind this deadly drama? Maya's story isn't just about a single tragedy. It's about the shadows that follow fame, the unseen battles fought behind smiles, and the price of being truly seen. Her death sent ripples far beyond the fashion world, raising haunting questions about obsession, control, and the dark side of technology. Join us as we dive deeper, unravel hidden alliances, and confront the chilling reality behind this murder. Subscribe, ring the bell, and stay with us. The truth is waiting, but be warned. Some truths come at a high cost. In the final chapter of Maya Bennett's tragic story, we confront the darkest truth, the identity of the killer and the shocking twist that reframes everything we thought we knew. This is not just a tale of obsession. It's a web of manipulation, betrayal, and a chilling reminder of how appearances deceive. If you've been following closely, hit subscribe and stay until the end, because this revelation will haunt you. For weeks, detectives scrutinized every detail: the DNA evidence, phone records, and witness testimonies. The key lay buried in the encrypted messages on Maya's phone, decoded by cybercrime experts. One message stood out: "Tonight, everything ends. No one will take her from me." But it wasn't from Ethan Clark. It was Jonathan Price, Maya's trusted manager and closest professional confidant. Jonathan's obsession was not hidden in torn journals or creepy collages. It was cold, calculated, and cloaked in control. He saw Maya not just as a client, but as his possession, the shining star who needed his guidance, his direction, his control. Jonathan had discovered Ethan's stalking months earlier and manipulated the situation. He befriended Ethan under false pretenses, feeding his obsession while isolating Maya further. Jonathan feared losing control if Maya left him or if others interfered. When Derek's past resurfaced and Maya's growing defiance threatened Jonathan's grip, he snapped. On October 14th, Maya confronted Jonathan after finding out about his manipulations. An argument erupted in her apartment. Neighbors heard screams. In a moment of rage, Jonathan grabbed a knife from the kitchen. The wound was fatal. Panicked, Jonathan staged the scene. He left the note, "Forever mine," to implicate Ethan, the obvious suspect with documented obsession. He locked the door from the inside and fled, intending to frame both Ethan and Derek. The mysterious third DNA sample belonged to Maya's roommate, a woman desperate to protect Maya's reputation and unaware of Jonathan's schemes. She had confronted Jonathan earlier, overheard the fight, and fled the apartment in terror, leaving traces behind. Jonathan's confession shook the fashion world. Maya's family struggled with the betrayal. The man they trusted most had been the architect of her death. The industry confronted its own shadows: toxic control behind glamour, the silencing of women who dared to break free. Maya's death was not the result of a lone stalker's obsession. It was the product of a predator disguised as a protector. Her story reminds us how power can be weaponized in the most intimate spaces. Thank you for joining me through this haunting journey. If Maya's story moved you, share this video because awareness can save lives. Subscribe for more deep dives into true crime stories that reveal the complex human truths behind headlines. And remember, sometimes the most dangerous monsters wear the faces we trust the most.